అది కంపల్సరీ మనకు కావాలి. రిమోట్ లేని ఏం చేయాలి?
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So let us all welcome His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu with three loud and enthusiastic Haribol, Haribol, Haribol. It is a great fortune that Prabhuji is here and he is giving his time to all of us. Some special treatment is happening to all of us. Some extraordinary ICU intensive care unit treatment is happening. Right? Last 7 days, Prabhuji is here. It's amazing. Never we thought in our dreams that we get this kind of an association. Especially Prabhuji who travels. For some of you who don't know Prabhuji, Prabhuji is a scholar in Vedic literature, and he has done a lot of courses for many audience around the world how to present Vedas and Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita in the most scientific, easily understandable way. Prabhuji has a website, Daily Gita Daily rather, and these spiritual scientists, right? Now, why is it called these spiritual scientists? You have to attend his lectures to understand, right? Because he so scientifically explains even the things that are so difficult to understand, right? So we have been experiencing his association tremendously in the last 6 to 7 days, where we have been having morning Gopi Gita series, right? And this is being organized in different houses. And if you still not attended, you can come, but for that you have to chant. How many are not chanting 60 rounds? No need to chant. Just chant 16 and come to the classes, right? And today also Prabhuji chose a very essential topic, right? And I would request everyone's full attention and rapid attention so we can sit down and understand. Always remember that a sadhu doesn't come in our life because we have asked them to. And sometimes a sadhu also is sent by God, right? Is sent by God to convey the message. I'm sure this topic is essential for all of us, and that is the reason Prabhuji is speaking it. So please be attentive, and Prabhuji will explain very nicely, even on the board. So if you're not able to see the board, then you're going to miss something very important. So I'm 100% sure this side cannot see, even if you nod your heads. So why don't you go that side so that you can see the seminar, right? Can you see? Yeah. If you're not able to see, please go that side. Is my request. Okay, Hare Krishna. So everybody, please come in the front because we are only 50% of the crowd inside now. Another 50% is going to come. So you have to know where to make them sit. If you sit in the back, they won't know where to sit. So please come in the front. Please come in the front. Yes. And whoever can sit down, please sit down. Only people above the age of 60 or senior software engineers can sit down. Remaining all people, please sit down. Hare Krishna. So let's once again welcome His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhuji, 3 round and enthusiastic.
ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशकारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for being here today. And I will speak broadly today on the topic of SAHAHIYAISM, which is, you may not have heard the word, but it is about the role of emotion in devotion. The role of emotion in devotion. So I'll speak based on 10.8 in the Bhagavad Gita. So this is, I tell the translation of the verse and then we'll recite it together. So this is Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. Krishna says, I am the source of everything. And Sarvasya is everything. Prabhavo is the origin point. So let's recite this. Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo.
Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo.
Then Krishna is saying that I am not just the source of everything. Mattaha Sarvam Pravartati. That means everything exists within me. Everything is sustained by me. Pravartati is existing in me. Mattaha is from me, within me. Mattaha Sarvam Pravartate. Iti Matva. Those who understand in this way. Bhajante Mam. They worship me. How do they worship me? Bhajante Mam. Iti matva bhajante Mam. And then Buddha. Buddha is wise. Bhava is emotion. Samanvitaha. Samanvitaha is infused with, enriched with. So they worship me with intelligence enriched with emotion. Buddha bhava samanvitaha. So our session today will be on this theme of Buddha bhava, that enlightened emotion. Bhava is emotion, Buddha is a cognate of Buddha, it's the enlightened one. So Buddha is enlightened. So enlightened emotion. That will be the theme of our discussion today. So let's recite this responsibly a few times and then we will collectively recite it once. Aham sarvasya prabhavo. Mattah sarvam pravartate. Iti matva bhajante mam. Buddha bhava samanvitaha. Aham sarvasya prabhavo. Mattah sarvam pravartate. Iti matva bhajante mam. Buddha bhava samanvitaha. And last time, all of us together. Aham sarvasya prabhavo. Mattah sarvam pravartate. Iti matva bhajante mam. Buddha bhava samanvitaha. So I'll talk about this session in three broad parts. First part, I'll explain the Bhakti worldview. What is special about the Bhakti worldview? Then I'll talk about two pitfalls in understanding and applying Bhakti. And then I'll talk about two safeguards. And while we're talking all this, we'll also talk about history in terms of how Bhakti has been understood at different times, how it has been applied or misapplied, and what is the legacy that we have got, which we are trying to understand and apply in our lives. So let's look at the Bhakti worldview first. Broadly, in our lives, we have two faculties. We have the faculty of emotion, which is associated with our mind. And we have what we can call the faculty of reason, which is associated with our intelligence, the buddhi. And based on this, there can be different worldviews. So basically, when emotion is, if you consider this to be positive axis and the negative axis, so when emotion is considered valuable and reason is considered valuable, when only one of these is considered valuable, when neither of them are considered valuable. So based on this, there are multiple worldviews that come up. But generally, emotion is associated very much with the present. In the sense that, how does it feel right now? So, this feels good, I want to do this more. With emotion, generally we are fixated on the present. How does it feel in the moment right now? In general, reason or intelligence is also concerned about the future. That means, okay, a child may just want to eat a dozen chocolates or 100 chocolates right now. Mother says, no, this will ruin your teeth. But the parents are concerned about the future also. Like our intelligence looks at the future. So based on this, the primacy of emotion or the primacy of reason, there can be different worldviews. So basically, across the world, throughout history and geography, there has been this understanding that there is this world and there is some other world. Now, what that some other world is, we'll talk about it a little later. But whether you look at any theistic tradition in the world, the Vedic tradition, you understand this Tasmat Bhavam, it is another world. Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita. In Judaism, in Christianity, in Islam, even in Buddhism, they don't necessarily accept God, but there is another domain, which is the domain of Nirvana. So basically, you can say there is this world and there is the other world. So now, this world is what the mind is concerned about. There is the present, what feels good right now. The other world is the concern of the intelligence. So with intelligence, people think, is there another world? Is there something more to life beyond death? So now based on this, there could be 4 broad worldviews. One is, which considers this world to be real, the other world to be false. So correspondingly, it says that this emotion is all that matters. Whatever feels good right now, that is what is real. The other world doesn't matter. So now this world and other world, we could discuss this a little bit more. But basically, when we focus on worldviews, when we look at life, when we are trying to do something, something either has to feel good for us to do it, or something has to have some value as good for us to do it. Say if you are studying, if a child is studying, they may not find studying to be feel good, but they understand to some extent. His parents explain to them, this is good for you in the future. If something neither feels good in the present nor will be good in the future, then what is the point of doing that? So when there is only, so let's start with the first one. If we consider that neither emotion is important, that is whatever feels good right now, neither future reason is important. That means that okay, there are some philosophers, they, especially in the 20th and 20th centuries, they came up. They had this idea that science has proven that there is no other world. So the other world is an imagination. But then when you look at this world, a thoughtful person starts understanding that in this world there is so much distress. There is so much distress. So such people, they came to the idea that life in this world is meaningless. So there's so much distress. One such philosopher, he said, every time I pass by the window of a second-story building, I have to fight the temptation to jump off and end my life. Every time. So it's a very dark way to live. That there is the other world doesn't exist, and this world is meaningless because there's no point in this. Krishna talks about this asatyam apatishtamte jagadahuranishwaram. So this particular worldview is called as nihilism. You may not have heard this word. Nihilistic, Prabhupada uses the word sometimes. Nihilism is everything is meaningless. That the other world is meaningless because it's false. This world is also meaningless. It may exist, but it's of no value. Everything is just, this is a very dark place to be. Where a person either feels good of this world, now there's a reason help them think of some other worldview on this. Now, there's another worldview where by reason we understand there must be some reality, otherwise how would any of this exist? But this idea is that only that world is real and this world is false. So this is impersonalism. Impersonalism, specifically Mayavad, it holds that Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya. So this world doesn't matter. How you live in this world, you just have to get out of this. Now, the third is that we could say this world matters, the other world doesn't matter. This world is all that is real. So let's put it this way. Present means this world. I'll come to the point of emotion reason later. We're talking about this world and other world. So this world is the only thing that is real. The other world is just imagination.
The tablet power is going off. It says 15% only.
I think, okay, that's 50% should be good enough for us.
Okay.
Thank you. It's a lot. Like this, there's so many distracting thoughts going on in our mind. We turn them off, so much of our power is saved. So now, there is also, this is materialism. Materialism is the idea that this world is the only thing that exists. So even among materialists, there are actually two kinds of materialists. There are functional materialists and there are fanatical materialists. Normally we think of religious people only as fanatical, but anybody can be fanatical. So functional materialists are the people who think that matter is all that matters. Matter is all that matters. But there are fanatical materialists who say matter is all that exists. And there might be something else that exists, it doesn't matter. That's materialistic. There's God. Who cares? It's like when I was introduced to Bhakti, I was talking with one of my relatives about 25 years ago. I was telling him about God. He says, yeah, maybe God exists. He's happy there, I'm happy here. So the idea is matter is all that exists, or matter is all that matters. Now, this is materialism. So this is the prevalent, prominent worldview in today's world. And this is often boosted by science. Because through science, we are often taught that, oh, any other world, that idea is just a pre-scientific imagination. But the fact of life is that life in this world is often boring. Because at a material level, if we were purely just materialist creatures, then what is the pleasure in life? The pleasure in life would be sense gratification. But even if we have the biggest wealth, even if we have the best sense objects, how much sense gratification can a person have? Even if, say, we own a 5-star restaurant, we can eat whatever we want. How much can we eat? Even if you get the best sense objects, the sense enjoyment that is available is limited. Often, so the thing is that we think that there are senses and there are sense objects. So we often think that, we think when this will come together, yahi samsparsha jab hoga, in this contact, then there is pleasure. Now we think that I am not getting pleasure because I don't have good enough sense objects. But even if we had the best sense objects, our senses' capacity to enjoy itself is limited. And that is why this materialism, it just leaves us, if sense pleasure is all that is there to life, and sense pleasure can be had only intermittently, then what do you do in between? You just let go. So basically, materialism and the idea that this world is all that exists, it's boring. And that's why the same science that on one side is used to argue that there is no world other than this world, that same science is used through technology to create elaborate fictional worlds. Isn't it? Whether it is movies, whether it is video games, all these, now we have AI, virtual reality, all this, whatever it is, everybody wants to experience something beyond this world. So, in one sense, you can say that now people, when they have these, these fiction stars, Star Wars or Harry Potter or this or that, now people become so attracted to that. It's so captivated by that. Actually, attraction to the supernatural is natural. we all long for something beyond what is ordinarily experienced in this world. And we may say that, oh, there is no such thing. But then we'll create such a thing. We'll create such a thing and we may say that, no, I don't believe this is real. But still, you really want to enjoy it. Isn't it? Why? Because there is a core to our being which longs for something beyond this material world. So we may aggressively, in today's world, we may aggressively promote materialism, but that same worldview creates another worldview, a fictional world. And people try to rush into that world and try to forget the world that here is there, and then they try to enjoy. So the point is, everybody longs for some world beyond this world. So now, if we consider that this world is real, the other world is false, that is materialism. Now the Bhakti worldview is that this world is real and the other world is also real. That's why we discuss this particular verse. Aham sarvasya prabhu. Krishna is saying that everything comes from me. What comes from the real cannot be unreal. So this world is also real and the other world is also real. Now of course there is a difference that this world is a temporary reality but the other world is an eternal reality. But the Bhakti worldview is actually the most life-affirming worldview. Because it acknowledges that the life we are experiencing over here, the relationships that we have, the experiences that we have, the emotions that they all are real. We are experiencing them right now. And through these, we can move towards a higher reality. So, materialism may sometimes seem to be more life-affirming. Oh, just enjoy this world. But actually, the enjoyment in this world is finite. And what next? You're enjoying, and then one bug comes inside a body, or one bang comes from the body from outside, and it's all over. It's so meaningless actually. So that's why it's thinking people. They cannot stay materialists for very long. From materialism, either they will go to nihilism, or they have to rise towards some kind of spiritualism. It's very difficult to remain a materialist and stay sane. You can stay sane by being superficial, not thinking too much. But if a person starts thinking, materialism is a very unsatisfactory worldview. So, the Bhakti worldview is, this world is real and the other world is real. And more importantly, if you put it this way, say this is the other world, and this is our world, this world. So now not only are both real, but it is that by functioning in this world, we can also parallelly be going towards this world. It is that we don't have to give up this world to go toward that world. We are functioning in this world itself. What is happening is we ascend toward that world. Our consciousness rises upwards. So now, having understood this, Krishna says that parastasmat bhavam. There is another world which continues to exist when this world no longer exists. But he also said this world does exist. For some time it ceases to exist. So now, in this bhakti worldview, there are, when somebody is going to practice the bhakti worldview, there is the understanding this world is real, next world is real. But there are two pitfalls. Often bhakti is associated with devotion, and devotion is considered to be an emotion. And yes, it is an emotion, but it is much more than an emotion. That's why the Buddha bhava samannitaha. So when emotion is practiced at the expense of reason. So if we consider, now I talked about a quadrant, now let's make about a pendulum. So we more or less ruled out the materialistic worldview. That's literally pointless. Nihilism also more or less ruled out. So now we can consider there can be reason without emotion, and there can be emotion without reason. So when there is emotion, reason without emotion, this is actually impersonalism. And there is emotion without reason, that is why it's Sahajiyaism. And in between is emotion plus reason. That is actually genuine bhakti. That's why many places Mai Arpita Mano Buddhi. Mind and intelligence are very operative. Mam Evaishasya Asamshaya. So we will try to understand this particular pitfall today. This impersonalism will not go into. Maybe we'll talk about it in a future session. Emotion without reason. That is called Sahajiyaism. Now, the word Sahajiya comes from the word Sahaj. Now, the word Sahaj, originally, or Sahajiya, at the time of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who appeared about 500 years ago, at that time, it had a relatively positive connotation. That Sahaj means natural, spontaneous. So, for example, there are in Gaurila, or in the literature associated with Gaura Mahaprabhu, Ramanand Rai is glorified as a Sahajiya Bhakt. Now, at that time, the word Sahajiya meant something different. It meant the spontaneous devotee. He had natural love for the Lord. But nowadays, this was in the past, but recent past we can say, this word has changed meaning. This was more the distant past. It has become cheap. Sahajiya is those who take devotion very cheaply. That means they start thinking that devotion is simply emotion, and in that emotion there is no reason, there is no philosophy. It is why do you worship Krishna? Oh, because I like Krishna. Is Krishna real? I really don't care. No, it's that there is no philosophical understanding. Now, this is not how the Bhakti saints are presented Bhakti. But an emotion is divorced from reason. So now, why is reason or logic or philosophy, which is the foundation of reason, so important? Because it is important that we clearly understand that Krishna ultimately belongs to the other world. There is this world and there is the other world. And while Krishna is manifest in this world also, but Krishna ultimately belongs to the other world. And if that is not understood, then if you go back to the earlier thing, Sahajiyaism can very easily become like materialism. Because it's all driven by emotions, and whatever feels good right now, let's do that. So even in the name of devotion, there can be just emotionality. And this, so with reason, the key is, with reason, we understand the difference between the temporary versus the eternal. We understand the difference between matter and spirit. So we need to understand this difference. If we don't, then we may mistake matter to be spirit, or we mistake spirit to be matter. And then what we are being attracted to, we may think it is devotion, but it may not be really spiritual. So when this level of sentimentality, sentiments are good. We all need to have sentiments. But sentiments are different from sentimentality. Sentimentality is basically a person is controlled by sentiments. Emotions are very important for us. But if they alone control us, then it becomes problematic. So let's start from relatively harmless examples of sentimentality, then we'll go to a little more serious, grave examples. So when there is no clear understanding of the reason, that means they don't understand this world and other world. So now there are a lot of TV series on, say, say Vedic themes. You may have Ramayana, we may have Mahabharata, we may have this, we may have that. Then maybe Krishna Lila will be depicted. And at one level, having this is good. Now, I was in America, in Florida. I'm having a talk with some, I think I mentioned my Indian kids over there, school level kids. And then I just wanted to gauge how much was their knowledge. So I asked them, how many of you have heard of Narasimha? So one of them, some kids think that they're very clever. They have a particular air to them which you can pick up. So this kid raised his hand. He said, who is he? The former Prime Minister of India. So now, it's in one sense it's good that if people watch TV series or movies about the Lord's pastime, at least that comes within the horizon of their consciousness. Like they watch some movie, if there's a movie made about Narasimha, at least they know there's somebody called Narasimha. Otherwise they will not even know. So in that sense, it's positive. But when it's not understood from a philosophical perspective, then what happens is one day suddenly some Ram Leela is being depicted on TV, and we have the story of Jatayu. And then Jatayu is fighting heroically, and he lays down his life for the sake of the Lord. He attains martyrdom. And somebody is watching it, and the tears start coming from their eyes. And we were sitting there thinking, I'm not getting any tears because people are getting such tears. They have some devotion. And then, after that drama gets over, they change the TV series, the cricket match is going on. And Virat Kohli gets out, and again tears start coming. So, what is happening is that there is no understanding of any difference between, say, the Lord's pastimes and some mundane source of entertainment. That it's just emotionality is there, and that emotion may be connected with the Lord or may be connected with this something in this world. For them, it is just emotion. That's the example of emotion without reason. That's why Krishna said, Janma karma chime divyam evam yo vetti tattvataha. In truth means understanding this categorical difference. That there is matter and there is spirit. And Krishna's pastimes are at the spiritual domain. If that is not understood, then it becomes sentimental. And sentimental devotion is, one of the big problems with it is that it is not consistent. Why is it not consistent? Because today I feel good, I do it. Tomorrow I don't feel good, I don't do it. It's controlled by sentiments. So there might seem to be great devotion, but the devotion can very easily disappear. So, another sentimental devotion is that one time one devotee told me, I asked, generally when we meet devotees, we ask, how do we start practicing bhakti? How do I introduce to bhakti? So one devotee told me, actually, I came to the temple for the first time, and when I look at the altar, Krishna winked at me. Because Krishna winked at me, I thought that Krishna is like a fun-loving God. Now, okay, can Krishna wink at us? Well, of course, who can say Krishna can't wink at us? But this is, I talk about emotion in this sense. Quite often, it could be just our imagination. Now, our imagination, now I'll talk about when imagination is favorable, when it is unfavorable. But the point is, in this case, okay, that's what inspired him to practice bhakti. But then, if he had not studied philosophy, then what would every time he comes to temple, oh, today Krishna is not winking at you, no need to come to the temple today. It's not like that. So we have to have philosophical understanding that Krishna is the ultimate reality. So when there is no reason, when there is the flow of emotion toward Krishna, and we are going toward Krishna, ultimately, this emotion needs to be basically guided and guarded. It needs to be guided and guarded. Guided means, okay, this is the direction we should go. So, like I said, one day the emotion might go towards Krishna, another day the emotion might go towards a movie star. At the next day it might go towards a cricket player, whatever. So, emotion needs to be guided. And then even when it's going towards Krishna, it might go off track. So, it has to be guarded. And reason plays that role in guiding and guarding our devotion to Krishna. Now, when you say, okay, this is nothing, some people may imagine certain things, what's the big deal? If they imagine that Krishna is winking at them, or somebody thinks Krishna has come in my dream, I talk about our dreams a little later, or we can have that question answers. But what's the harm in that? Well, yes, that might not be particularly harmful. The only thing is, at that level, devotion is quite sporadic, it is inconsistent. So if we consider the journey of devotion toward Krishna, the devotion, when devotion is sentimental, then it is sporadic. Sporadic means it is interrupted. It is inconsistent. Krishna says, Chanchalatvad sthitim sthiram. What I mean is, the constant state of the mind is to be inconstant. Chanchalatvad sthitim sthiram. The steady state of the mind is to be unsteady. So chanchalatvat is unsteady. Sthitim is the state. Sthiram is steady. The steady state of the mind is to be unsteady. So like that, when we are driven by the mind's emotions, we will be steadily unsteady. Whenever it feels good, we do it. Whenever it doesn't feel good, okay, forget it. So this is devotion at the sentimental level. From there, devotion rises to a philosophical or an intellectual level. This is where we consciously practice bhakti. It is intentional. Intentional means filled with conscious intention. And then eventually we come to transcendental bhakti. So transcendental bhakti is where, so here it's only emotion. Here it is emotion guided by reason. The emotion with reason. And here it is emotion and reason in full synergy. They are animated by both. This is emotion is guided with reason. So it's a gradual journey when they are growing in our bhakti. So the first, as I said, I'll talk about two pitfalls. One is that if it is unguided by reason, it will become sentimental. But there's a bigger danger. The bigger danger is that when it is emotion without reason, it can very well become immoral. It can neglect morality. Now, how might that happen? And somebody starts thinking that I am worshipping God. And because I am worshipping God, I can do whatever I want because it's for the sake of God. That person thinks that morality is no longer important. Now this can happen in many ways. So for example, when Bhaktivinoda Thakur was a prominent acharya in our tradition, when he discovered Gaudiya Vaishnavism and started spreading it, at that time, the idea was many people in Bengal, this was that they would go to the market with a bead bag in one hand and they would come back carrying a fish in the other hand. And did they not know that, okay, eating meat is bad? Their idea was that actually if you chant the names of Krishna, all sins are forgiven. And they would even quote the Ajamil pastime for that purpose. The idea was that morality was realized. Because, we are practicing bhakti. Now that's in oneself somewhat bad, but there were worse things that happened. So there will be a little of, this class will be a little technical, but I'll end it soon and then we can have a lot of question answers if we have time. But a couple of more conceptual points. See, the Vedic path is, or Vedic teachings are very vast. And within that, there were two schools of thought about how to approach spirit. That means we understood earlier that this world is false, the other world is real. Is it true?
Yes.
No. What is the truth then? This world is real, the other world is also real. But this world is temporary. So now, how do we approach the spiritual? So there is the approach of Vedanta, which broadly says give up matter to reach spirit. Now, in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, this approach is there, where Krishna radically differentiates between body and soul. He said, Nainam chinnanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavaka. So whatever is the characteristic of the body, that is not the characteristic of the soul. That is the broad approach of Vedanta. Now there was in the Vedic school another school of thought called Tantra. Now Tantra was go through matter to spirit. That go through matter to spirit. So the idea is that actually the spiritual can be approached in any way. It's just a matter of consciousness. And so any form of matter can be used to approach spirit. That was the idea in Tantra. Now, if we consider Bhakti, the idea is that go through some matter to spirit, not all matter. That's a key difference. Some matter means, I'll explain the difference, that say we take prasad. Prasad at one level is matter, but it is offered to Krishna and it's sanctified. It takes us closer to Krishna. The deities are not material, but they are made of matter. Krishna is manifesting over there. So we have pictures, they are made of matter. But through matter, we can approach spirit. That is true, but it is some matter that is sanctified. But Tantra holds the idea that any matter can be used to approach spirit. And this Tantra over a period of time got mixed with Bhakti. Or rather, Tantra started contaminating Bhakti. I'll explain how this led to SAHAHIYAISM in a much more toxic way. Now, Tantra, generally, one of the things that binds us to matter and the material world the most is sense gratification, especially sexual gratification. And that's why that needs to be regulated. And across the world, marriage or some other institution like that has always been there to regulate the sexual energy. Now, Tantra holds that. So, generally, the idea is we regulate sensual indulgence so that we can go to spirit. The Tantra holds the idea that through sensuality you can go to spirituality. Through sexuality you can go to spirituality. There is one popular teacher who said there's some hoax is samadhi. Now there is this kind of idea is derived from Tantra. Now it's a misapplication of Tantra, but still it's derived from Tantra. And there is some merit to the idea. But there is a big danger with it. See, the Bhagavatam, and this is general Vedic understanding, it explains that, if you can say that, I don't know, does it look like a fire? Okay, no, it doesn't look like fire. Just call it fire. Okay. So now, if on fire, I put fuel, I put, say, any kind of fuel, I put oil, what is going to happen? It's going to burn even more. If I put, say, a log of wood in fire, what's going to happen? It's still going to burn. So, this is the basic understanding that if we all have the fire of desire within us, and if you keep putting fuel on it, it will keep burning more and more. It will keep becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. So, the idea is, if you want to go beyond desire, stop putting fuel on it. Stop. Like somebody is an alcoholic, if they want to give up alcoholism, don't have a bar in your house. That's the first thing. Even if you say, I'm not going to eat this, I'm not going to do this, it's for my guests when they come. Well, your own alcoholism is the guest that will come inside you, isn't it? So that means what could be putting fuel on it? Keep it drinking it or keep looking at it. All that is putting fuel on it. So fuel will only increase the fire. But hypothetically speaking, that if we get a log of wood that is this big and put it on the fire, then what will happen? The fire will get extinguished. Now, so this is the idea of Tantra. That if you, one idea of Tantra, Tantra has many ideas, but one of the ideas is if you enjoy so much your senses that the desire will get extinguished. Now, there are two preconditions for this to happen. The first is that the fire needs to be small and the wood needs to be bigger. It needs to be bigger than the fire. And if by mistake the wood is not big enough, then that wood, when it catches fire, the fire can increase 100-fold. Isn't it? So, for most people, this fire of desire is actually not very small. It is big. And for most people, that much sense enjoyment, that it will be such a big log of food that I just completely get satiated. Yeah, sometimes a person may enjoy a lot, and after enjoying a lot, you get tired. But that tiredness is different. See what this is? When there is sense indulgence, and after that, there is exhaustion, there is tiredness. What is happening over there is that it is the desire is still there. It is the capacity that has gone. And that's why people wait for some time and again the capacity comes and they try to enjoy it. So what it is talking about is, so in this case, this is not going to lead to any renunciation or looking for something higher. It is only when the indulgence is so great that the desire itself goes away. It doesn't happen so easily. Kvachit nivartate abhadra, kvachit charati tatpunaha. And gives a lot of frustration, not because, oh, I don't want to enjoy this, I just don't have the capacity anymore. And then after some time, again I want to enjoy. So this is a dangerous way. This is not the way in which it is definitely, Narayana mentioned this in the Bhagavatam, but he said this is not the recommended way at all. This is not a safe way at all. So is it possible? Well, it may be for some people. For them, the fire originally is small and the fuel is very big. But then the question comes, if the fire is already small, you could just extinguish it just like that. Why do you need to put big fuel on it? Isn't it? So this is not a recommended way. But this is the Tantra idea that through all matter you can approach spirit. In Bhakti, so this is one philosophical concept. I'll add one more philosophical concept and then we'll try to look at something more practical. In Bhakti, there is also the concept of avatar. Now, avatar is where the divine descends to this world, stays for some time and then returns. So avatar, we all know, there are avatars and other avatars. But there is also another concept called Avesh. Avesh is manifestation or possession. And Avesh is much more temporary. So Avesh is slightly different, where the idea is the divine manifests in some unique. So for example, Chaitanya Charan Prabhuji said there was a brahmachari, Nakul brahmachari. And sometimes when he would talk, people would feel as if Lord Chaitanya is talking to them. The same tone, same mood, same vocabulary. And as if the Avesh of Lord Chaitanya is. So this idea of Avesh is there in the Vedic tradition, and it is possible. So for example, in Natya is performed. If you consider now in Ayodhya, this Grand Ram temple is coming up. Ayodhya has a big, Varanasi, they all have a tradition of Ram Leela. And Ram Leela, what happens is that there are certain actors who will play Ram or Sita, and that Ram might be a small child, But for that day, when that person is playing the role of Ram, his father, his grandfather, his grandmother, even his great grandmother, they will all come and offer obeisances. So it's the next day they will chastise it. But that day, when he's playing that role of Ram, it is thought that the Avesh of Ram has come within him. This idea was so common that in the 1950s or 1960s in South India, I don't know which of the states, that the first time when the the movie theaters became popular. So at that time, first time, and there was a scene with Lord Ram. Now, everybody in the movie theater got up from their seats and offered pranams. Because, Lord Ram has come. Even in 1980s, when the Ramayana was going on and Ram would come, there were people who would wait with the Aarti plates and do Aarti as soon as Ram would come. So now this is some, you could say, sentimental application or whatever of the idea of Avesh. That when now it's understood that that particular actor is not Ram. But at that time, when he's playing the role of Lord Ram, it is in Natya Shastra, which is the Indian tradition of drama, it is understood that the Lord or some divine character manifests over. That is the idea of Avesh. And that's why in India, drama was always a sacred activity. In the West, drama was often more for entertainment. So entertainment was there, but drama was not just something you set up for the sake of entertainment. It was like some higher realities are manifested through drama. And so all the Bhakti traditions had drama as a very important part of it. So this is the idea of Avesh. And Avesh is a time-honored tradition. But what happened is, this Bhakti idea of Avesh and the the Tantra idea of that all matter can be used for reaching spirit. That unfortunately had a toxic coming together. And what happened was, whenever there is anything spiritual, there are always people who are self-seeking. And those self-seeking people, they have a predatory attitude. They have the attitude that we exploit this for our own pleasure, our own gratification. And that's why Srila Prabhupada said there should not be any blind following. Pariprashnena, we have to ask questions, we have to get proper understanding. So there will always be predatory elements. So some people who just had desires to gratify themselves, what they started claiming is that, say, now if Krishna performs the rasa dance with the gopis, and then the rasa dance is being depicted. Now, rasa dance, if it is depicted, it's also meant to be a secret depiction. It's done in a very reverential way. It's a dance. But these people, they started claiming, they started having illicit relationship between men and women. And when that was pointed out, actually, it is not we who are enjoying. This Krishna is entering into me and Radha is entering into this person. And it is Krishna and Radha who are enjoying through us. Now they have spiritual bodies. They do not need our pus and sweat emitting bodies to enjoy. But this idea, see, generally anything that provides a license for sensuality, that spreads very quickly. So this started spreading. And it became like a cancer in the Bhakti tradition. And Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had warned against this. If you know Chaitanya Lila is a pastime where Mahaprabhu is in Vrindavan. And while he's in Vrindavan, there is a news or a rumor that spreads, oh, Krishna is appearing in Jamuna. And everybody becomes excited, oh, Krishna is appearing. And it was the talk of the town at that time. And Mahaprabhu had an assistant, and he said that, oh, Krishna is appearing in Jamuna, can I go and take darshan? Mahaprabhu said, Krishna is there in the temples, go and take this, that's Krishna. That is Sakshat Rajendrananda, Pratimurti Nahi to me, Sakshat Rajendrananda. You're actually, no, I want to see Krishna. Yes, come. So So Mahaprabhu was not very happy with that. And he said that by associating with sentimentalists, you have become sentimentalist. And then later on, what they found out was there's just a fisherman who, so the rumor was that Krishna is coming and Krishna is dancing on Kaliya. So what would happen is there's this boatman who would go in his boat, and at night, because it was cold, he would put a blanket on his body. So people thought the boat is Kaliya and Krishna is dancing on Kaliya. So the point is, this pastime is funny, but even at that time, Mahaprabhu, somebody says, oh no, somebody said, I'm saying Krishna. What is the thing if you're saying Krishna? You remember Krishna only. No, but it is sentimentality. It's disapproved. But in the same tradition, this started happening. And when this started happening, that's when our acharyas, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and Srila Prabhupada, they started saying that we have to avoid SAHAHIYAISM in our tradition. And what did they do? That's why this Ram Leela is there where Radha Sita Ram, their pastime were depicted. So at one time, when Srila Prabhupada had introduced the goddess devotees to Vrindavan, and they came to Vrindavan, they went to Vrindavan, they came back from there. One time in LA, they were performing a drama, and they had one devotee become Krishna, and they had another devotee become Radharani, and they performed some pastime. And when they had the drama going on, all the devotees started doing the arti of the devotee was Krishna. Now Prabhupada remained silent at that time. Nobody didn't want to disrupt the mood of the enthusiast devotees. But Prabhupada said after that, we should not be doing this. This is very close to SAHAHIYAISM. So the idea is, SAHAHIYAISM, it takes that which is transcendental and makes it not only mundane, but it can even make it immoral. So that which is very divine, not only ordinary, but below the ordinary it makes it. And that is now what happened by the time when especially Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur were there, this was so widespread that many people thought Krishna Bhakti is simply a license for immorality. That Krishna Bhakti is just a justification of immorality. And it was that misconception that Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Bhaktivinoda Thakur had to counter. And when they had to counter that, how did they do that? They started ensuring or enforcing that Bhakti was followed with strict regulation. So there is spontaneous devotion. They said that we can't jump to spontaneous devotion. We need to go through regulated devotion. Only through regulated devotion, gradually, we can come towards spontaneous devotion. It is not that the spontaneous devotion is rejected. It is accepted, but it needs to be adequately respected. So, now when we are practicing bhakti, so I said I'll talk about two pitfalls and then I'll talk about two safeguards. So, the safeguards that we need. So is sentiment important? Of course, sentiment is important. We don't want to say that all sentiment is bad, not at all. Now, if we come in front of Krishna and we see a beautiful darshan and we feel some joy, we feel some tears coming from our eyes, or we feel some very deep feelings, we don't have to deny that feeling. That's wonderful. It's a blessing from Krishna if we feel it. But the key thing is the extraordinary, or I said earlier about the supernatural. Let's use the word paranormal. Paranormal experiences in devotion. What do you mean paranormal? That means, normally we come, we take darshan. Now, normally in temples, the system is when the altar opens, we offer obeisances, we offer pranams. The idea is when great devotees, those who have just love for Krishna, when they see Krishna coming, they are so attracted, they just faint in ecstasy and they fall down. Now we can't faint, we should at least fall down. The idea is that we are, in one sense, starting with the external, doing what the advanced devotees do, and gradually the internal will develop. So, but we can also at our level have some paranormal experiences and emotion. We go to Vrindavan Yatra and sometimes we experience something like that. Now, the key is we do not have to legislate and say, if somebody says Krishna came in my dream yesterday, now we can't say, how can Krishna come in your dream? So, yeah. Once Prabhupada was asked, Prabhupada was one devotee said it, Prabhupada, that one devotee, one Indian who was not exactly a follower of Prabhupada, he said, Swamiji, Krishna came in my dream yesterday. And Prabhupada looked gravely, quite nonchalantly. All right, serve him today. Serve him today. Now, what is the meaning of that? That, say, if we consider our consciousness, this is the soul. Around the soul is the mind. Around the mind is the, let's put this simply, the body. Now, when the soul's consciousness comes out from the mind through the body, that is the state of Jagruti. That is wakefulness. Hopefully, by the end of this class, at least some of you will be there. Now, when the consciousness comes slightly out of the mind, slightly to the level of the body, this is the stage of Swapna. So in Swapna, in sleep and dream state, we actually are not experiencing physical reality. But there's a little consciousness. When an alarm rings or somebody throws water on us, we do wake up. There's some physical awareness, but very less. So now Swapna is also a state of experience. And all states of experiences are regulated by Krishna. So even Swapna is regulated by Krishna. So Krishna can come in our dreams. But the key difference between Swapna and Jagruti is that only in Jagruti we have Svecha. We have free will. In Swapna, it's like sometimes in our dreams we are like watching a movie and this movie is going on, we watch the things. Sometimes in our dreams, we're not just watching a movie, we are ourselves a character in the movie also. But it's almost as if things are happening to us and we are responding in a particular way. But it's not really that we have conscious free will over there while I'll do this, I'll do that. These things are happening and we are reacting. So, the reason I'm mentioning this is that sometimes Krishna can come in our dreams. Sometimes Krishna can come in paranormal visions to us. But the key is that we won't grow in bhakti just by that. To grow in bhakti, we have to use our free will properly. We have to use our free will to consciously serve Krishna. So, if we have paranormal experiences in bhakti, what it should do? What it should do is, it should reinforce our normal practice of bhakti. That's why Prabhupada, okay, Krishna came in your dream yesterday, serve him today. Krishna coming in our dream, that is Krishna's mercy. Now here we are assuming it is true. It could be sentimental imagination, but even if it is true. But our practices is our reciprocation. And Krishna can give us unlimited mercy. But unless we reciprocate, we are not going to grow. We are not going to grow unless we reciprocate. So that's why Prabhupada's focus was much more on the normal practices of devotion rather than the paranormal experiences in devotion. Once one of the servants of Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada is traveling Prabhupada, and he said when Prabhupada would come to any city, then devotees would come to the airport and they would welcome him with ecstatic kirtans. And then by the they would be Prabhupada so enthusiastic, by the time they would be leaving, again the devotees would be in tears with the ecstatic kirtans. And he saw this happening at one place, second place, third place, fourth place. And he started thinking, these devotees see Prabhupada and they have so much devotion that they have tears. So I'm constantly with Prabhupada and I never have any tears. And thinking like that brought him tears. But Prabhupada saw, Prabhupada was very observant. He saw that he was looking a little downcast. Prabhupada asked him, what is the matter? And he said, Prabhupada, I have no devotion for you. I never get tears even when I'm in your presence. And Prabhupada remained grave and said, but you are serving me. But you are serving me. So in that sense, what the important thing Prabhupada said was that our normal practices of devotion, they are more important than the paranormal experience of devotion. If those experiences come, that's wonderful. But if those experiences become distractions from our devotion, then that is a serious problem. So there in Bhakti Sindhu, there is the story of Krishna and he has his associate Chitra and Rakta. And they are fanning, he has servants, not associates, his servants. They are fanning Krishna. And they are beholding the beauty of Krishna. And as they are beholding his beauty and they are fanning Krishna, tears start coming from their eyes. And what is their attitude? They don't oh, these tears full, I'm still great devotion. No. They actually start cursing those tears. See? Now, because of these tears, we cannot see where Krishna is sweating, which part of his speech will be. I don't want these tears. I want to serve Krishna. So, now, if this comes, this is good. But this is what is most important. We don't, sometimes what happens is when we are a little too sentimental, we are constantly looking for these paranormal experiences. You know, when will I feel something special? When will I experience something special? And yes, we will in due course. But the important thing is to stick to the normal practice of devotion. They are what are, by them we are showing Krishna that we are actually serious in connecting with him. And Krishna will reciprocate according to his time. Krishna will enrich our hearts. So this is the first safeguard, that focus on normal practices. Not on the, we ourselves should not be seeking those, craving for those, and thinking that those alone signify my spiritual advancement. So this is what we prioritize. The second point is that if paranormal experiences do come, if such extraordinary experiences do come, there are broadly two ways of looking at it. One is we cherish privately, and the other is we almost parade publicly. You know, it's like somebody has Krishna came in my dream, put on my phone. I'm a pure devotee. Panchang is not enough. You have to put once now. It's not like that. If a devotee experiences something special, a devotee doesn't go around publicizing it to others. The idea is, can devotees experience some ecstatic symptoms? Yeah, we all can experience. And we will experience in due course. But those are between us and Krishna. We don't have to exhibit them to the world. Those are our private experiences with Krishna. If we are exhibiting them to the world, what it means is we are actually not satisfied by experiencing Krishna. What we want is, we want the experience of Krishna to give us fame in this world. And if we are not satisfied with Krishna, why will Krishna reveal himself more to us? So, many times in the Bhagavatam, in the Bhakti Sindhu, ecstatic symptoms are described. Tears coming off from the eyes, the hair standing on end, and people start rolling on the ground. And these are, when we sing Shikshashtakam also, we talk about these symptoms. And they are important parts of the tradition. But at the same time, these can at one level be very easily imitated. Bhaktisaraj Thakur would say that what is the price of tears? He said it is the price of some onion. Just get some onion, put it in your ears, tears will start coming. And naive people who don't have philosophy, let us say, oh, just an advanced devotee. No, just carrying some onion with you, that's all. So he said that this kind of tears, they will not take us closer to Krishna. So there were people who would just exhibit or artificially exhibit these kind of symptoms. And he said that is not going to take you closer to Krishna. So Gaur Kishore Das Babaji is another prominent Acharya, is the Guru of Bhaktivedanta Thakur. He gave quite a provocative example for this, about how this kind of sentimentalism will not really take us to Krishna. So say, give the example, suppose a woman is pregnant and she's nearing delivery. So when the delivery is very close, she screams. Now, when she starts screaming, everybody will come and pay. Okay, pay attention. Okay, what can we do for you? How can we help you? And then eventually, through all those screams and through all that attention, a new life is going to come into the world. But suppose, seeing all the attention that this pregnant woman is getting, some other woman who is not pregnant, she also starts screaming. Now, through her screaming, people who are really in the know, they will not even pay attention. But even if some people come and pay a lot of attention, no child is going to come through that. Isn't it? So, he says similarly that when our heart is rich with devotion, then these ecstatic symptoms manifest. And when those ecstatic symptoms manifest, there are great wise devotees who they celebrate those symptoms. But through the manifestation of those ecstatic symptoms, actually our devotion becomes deeper. It's like a new child comes, like that our devotion goes through a new phase. But somebody's heart is not enriched with devotion, they artificially act out these symptoms. What happens by that is, nothing, they may act it out, they may also attract some attention. But their devotion is not going to grow by that. This is going to be a show. So in the same Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, so in the Nectar of Devotion, as Prabhupada called it, NOD, when it talks about the symptoms of exalted devotion, symptoms of pure devotion, it talks about two distinct kinds of symptoms. There are some which are the ecstatic symptoms, Ashtasatmik Vikar. And these are, you could say, they are intermittent, they can come anytime. And these are what are often dramatic. Somebody suddenly starts crying, somebody's hair starts standing on him. These are important. But Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu also says there are regular symptoms. And what are these regular symptoms? For example, it says Avyartha Kalatvam. Avyartha Kalatvam is not wasting time. So it says that a devotee who is very dedicated to Krishna, that devotee will not waste time on mundane things. So now somebody can very easily imitate the ecstatic symptoms. But it's very difficult to imitate this Avyartha Kalatvam. Or another symptom is Nama Gane Sadaruchi. Constantly eager to glorify Krishna, to sing Krishna's names, to speak Krishna's glories. So like that, there are several symptoms which are described, these are imitable. But these are non-imitable. And Srila Prabhupada himself, if you look at these symptoms, I won't have time to go into all of them, but if you look at these symptoms, these Prabhupada manifested. Like one of the symptoms is that, courage in serving Krishna, taking risks for serving Krishna, ready to sacrifice for serving Krishna. And who could have shown more courage than Srila Prabhupada? At the age of 70, he left all alone, with practically no money, no contacts, no support, no institutional support. He just went from India to America to try to share Krishna's message. So these are the symptoms that are actually symptoms of serious devotion. They may not be visually dramatic, but they will actually be transformative. They indicate a transformed heart, and if we try to develop these symptoms, our heart will also get transformed. So we respect the ecstatic symptoms, but we don't chase after them. We don't think that anybody who is exhibiting ecstatic symptoms is necessarily exalted in them. They could be, they might not be. But those who are exhibiting these non-imitable symptoms, regular dedication to Krishna's service, they are on the path to advanced devotion. And if we follow their example, we also can move towards advanced devotion. In this way, the Acharyas, through their teaching and through their example, protect us from the pitfalls of Sahajiyaism and help us move closer and closer to Krishna. And eventually, when we do come to Krishna, what will happen is that if we consider sunrise, now the sun is constantly, in the morning, the sun is constantly rising. The sunrise is a gradual, continuous process. But our realization, hey, it is big, that is sudden. Let's say in the morning you go out for a walk, it's dark, it's dawn, and then we are chanting, we are doing something, say, hey, it's daytime. So our growth of bhakti is like that. Every day we are practicing bhakti. The sun of love for Krishna is rising. And it will keep rising, it will keep rising. One day we will realize, oh, I developed love for Krishna. Love for Krishna has become the living reality in my heart. Now that realization will come one special day. But the growth toward that is happening every single day. So every single day that you are practicing bhakti, you might not see an immediate difference. But that does not mean there is no difference. Difference is there, and the difference is growing. With each day that we are practicing bhakti, we are moving closer to Krishna. And Krishna is calling us closer to Him. In this way, ultimately we will be united with Him in the world of eternal love. So I'll summarize. I discussed 5 main points. The first point was I discussed about the 4 worldviews. That this world is real and the other world is real. And within that, we understood the importance of the bhakti worldview. So neither world is real is nihilism. Only the other world is real is impersonalism. Only this world is real is materialism. And both worlds are real is bhakti. So we discussed each of these worldviews and slightly, especially materialism, we discussed about. Even in this, there is science fiction through which they try to create some other world. A longing for some other world is always there. So the attraction for supernatural is natural. That's the point. Then we discussed that within the path of bhakti, there can be 2 obstacles. First is emotion without reason. And then we discuss how this leads to sentimentality. And I give some examples of sentimentality where a person may equate Krishna to just a mundane character. Okay, Krishna gives me entertainment, and just like some other movie character gives me entertainment. And the result of sentimentality is inconsistent devotion. But this can lead to further degeneration where there is emotion without morality. And this is where I elaborately discussed about Tantra and how Tantra mixed with Bhakti to make use Sahajiyaism. And Sahajiyaism led to people doing immoral things and justifying it in the name of Bhakti. So we discussed elaborately about this. How Tantra idea is that through all matter we can approach to it. Bhakti says that through some matter we can approach to it. These were the 2 pitfalls that we discussed. And then we discussed 2 safeguards. So to prevent ourselves going on the sentimental track, what is it? There are paranormal experiences in devotion, but more important than the paranormal experiences are the normal practices. They are important, but the normal practices. Can Krishna come in our dreams? Yes, he can. But our spiritual advancement will depend on what we do after we wake up. So we focus on consistent normal practices. And then we discussed about ecstatic symptoms. They are important in devotion, but they are immutable. And that's why rather than chasing or chasing those symptoms in ourselves or glorifying someone who shows that symptoms as pure devotee, we focus on the non-imitable symptoms. Non-imitable symptoms of dedication. If we focus on those, then we will ourselves grow closer to Krishna and we'll set an example by which we can help others grow towards Krishna. So Prabhupada himself was an example of these symptoms of non-imitable symptoms of devotion, and through it he has enriched so many millions of people's lives with devotion, and that is a legacy he has given all of us. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Should we take some questions? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Anybody has any questions? I can start with the question also.
Yes.
Okay. So, Prabhuji, actually I have two questions. I'll start with one. So, one is, they say that in previous life you advanced in devotion to a certain level and you could not finish, so you again come back. Krishna also explains that it's a life on life elevation of consciousness. So, in this life, I'm not that attracted to knowledge. If somebody says, I don't want to hear all this, I'm naturally attracted to Krishna. Can we understand that in previous life you already understood, so it is devotion, or how do you see the difference of Sahajiism versus?
So can there be some devotee who is so advanced now that they just have no attraction towards philosophical knowledge? Well, in principle, it is possible. See, let's look at this. Let's look at role of intelligence in devotion. So, intelligence is what we use to cultivate knowledge. We talk about the theme of Buddha Bhava Samandhi. So now, a dedicated devotee wants to use everything that they have in Krishna's service. If we love someone, we want to offer the best that we have to that person. So if we love Krishna, we will want to use all our resources in Krishna's service. So if we have intelligence, we use intelligence for glorifying Krishna. And there are a lot of people who will be attracted to Krishna when intelligent people glorify. So if some devotee has intelligence, then they will actually use it in Krishna's service. So if we consider intelligence as well, by intelligence I am referring to here more of an intellectual ability, say to analyze, to memorize, to present. Now, if that ability is absent, that means that that devotee in their professional life is also not very analytical or intellectual. They have some job, they do that job. Then they will use other faculties for serving Krishna. Now, what such devotees will not do is that they will not devalue the intelligence. It is not that, like somebody says, I love Chaitanya Charan Prabhuji. I love the Bhagavad. That's wonderful to see. Any scripture book attracts us. That's wonderful. But somebody says that, I love Chaitanya Charan Prabhuji so much, but I have no interest in the Bhagavad Gita. That is something which is some red flag is there. Okay, we like Chaitanya Charan, that's wonderful. Krishna will be revealing it to us. But if we are really experiencing Krishna, then we should be able to understand that Krishna can manifest himself through other books also. Krishna has manifested for millennia through the Bhagavad Gita from his own people. So if somebody starts devaluing something else, that is what is a problem. And take it further. Somebody starts saying that, those like I knew one devotee, he told me that those who study Bhagavad Gita, they are jnanis. Those who study Bhagavatam are bhaktas. Those who study Chaitanya Charan, they are Shuddha bhaktas. Now, where did you hear this? Now, Prabhupada did say that there is a progression in devotion. But that does not mean that Prabhupada said that Bhagavad Gita is not a part of studying of Bhakti. It is a very essential part of studying of Bhakti. So as long as personal preference is there, that's perfectly fine. But when a preference is made into a principle, or a preference is made into a proof of devotion, or proof of advanced devotion. So I am not interested in so much analysis and studying, that's okay. If that person is actually steadily practicing bhakti and that person is truly absorbed in Krishna, that's wonderful. But it is, in general, we all will have preferences. And we can't legislate preferences. No, these are non-legislative. You cannot say that. If somebody says, I feel attracted to the Bhagavatam, or I feel attracted to the Dhruv Maharaj pastor. You cannot be attracted to that pastor. Who will say that? It's a non-legislative. But the problem is when preference is made into principle, or it is made of proof of advancement, then it becomes a problem. Then this is where it starts becoming a problem. So people can have preference. Some devotees may not really want to study philosophy, that's fine. Some basic level of philosophy they need to understand so that they differentiate between this world and other world. And let's focus on the other world. Is that okay?
And the external symptoms that sometimes we see after hearing sometimes like today's lecture, right? A lot of clarity has come. Okay, what is the root of Sahajiism, where it starts, types, and everything. And then we see somebody enters the temple room, stands there and starts crying, looking at the deities. Immediately, a judgmental mind goes inside. What is she doing, right? So how do we apply this principle in life when we get this kind of knowledge like today we got? How we should apply it in day-to-day life?
Okay. So this is certainly not meant to make us judgmental toward others. It is that in our bhakti, when our reason becomes too strong, that's when we become judgmental. That when reason becomes much greater than emotion. On the other hand, when emotion within bhakti, the emotion becomes greater than reason. That is when we become sentimental. What we want to be is to be transcendental. At least we want to strive to be transcendental. So what we discussed today is something which is to be primarily applied to us. I shouldn't let myself get carried away with emotion. I shouldn't think that emotions are a proof of advanced emotion. And if somebody comes to a temple and suddenly the tears start coming from their eyes, rather than arriving at immediate judgment, they suspend it. Okay, who is this person? What is their normal behavior? And does this particular experience transform them? Now, see, Krishna can give glimpses of advanced devotion to anyone. So even if somebody is at a very initial stage in bhakti, sometimes Krishna can give some advanced spiritual experience with all sorts of people. But that does not mean that they have become advanced. That just means Krishna has been specially merciful for them. Now, what do they do with that? So, if say, it's a spiritual path, say, I am here, and there is some sublime spiritual experience that is meant to be experienced over here. It's like a landmark of the spiritual path. Now, Krishna can give a glimpse of that to me at this stage also. But when I get the glimpse, what I should be doing is I should start moving faster to it. But if I start thinking that, hey, now I got this good, and I'm already advanced, then that's when the problem comes. So yes, if devotees have some special experiences, then we don't have to judge them immediately. But what is the effect of that? How does it affect them immediately? How does it transform them? Are they simply bragging about it to everyone and trying to take credit for that? Or are they actually, truly when we experience Krishna, we become humbled? Because Krishna is so great and we all know impurities in our heart. So that if Krishna has given me such an extraordinary experience, it's profoundly humbling. Krishna has been so kind to me. If we feel humbled, then we're not going to parade or something over here. We're not going to be proud of that and exhibit that. So instead of immediately judging that, just suspend judgment and then then guide the devotee how to, if we are in the position, guide the devotee how to process that experience. Or watch how they are processing their experience. And then based on that, we move forward.
Actually, my second question was related to that only. You almost answered, but just one clarification, Prabhuji, is that knowing that I have anarthas, if there is an experience that comes from Krishna, if I have experienced something certain point of time, knowing that I have anarthas, how can I know that there is even an experience? Krishna gave it and I'm still not recognizing it. Or I'm just saying, no, I cannot be having it because I have too many anarthas. Or when I get that experience, how should I know that it's experience given by Krishna or just extension of my anarthas?
I don't think we have to become too analytical about this. But it's very difficult to know that. As long as an experience is within the purview of Krishna Bhakti, it's good enough. Like, I think last time I had come, I told this experience that there's one place I visit in Australia. There, this devotee, he comes and sits right in front. It is all my.
Just press it inside.
This one?
Battery's over? Battery's. One second.
So, so let's put it for charging. So, sorry, what was the talking about?
Anarthas, having anarthas and trying to experience something. And, so
how do we know it's a real experience? I was saying that
yeah.
see, we don't have
Don't be
to be
that
too worried about it.
Yeah.
See, so in general, if I am here and I have some experience, now in general, it is very difficult to know the source of that experience.
The screen is upside down.
Oh wow. Why is that happening? Not changing
Landscape.
Sorry?
Change landscape.
No. I'll make it landscape. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I realize it. That's fair enough. So if we have an experience, it's very difficult to know the source of the experience. So suppose we are trying to serve, in a practical sense. Say, if we are trying to serve Krishna and we get an idea. Is that idea coming from Krishna or is that idea coming from somewhere else? It's very difficult to know that. So rather than focusing on where it's coming from, we can focus on the destination. Where is it taking you? This is in our intelligence to evaluate. This is in our capacity to decide. So if we've got some experience, like this devotee, okay, he said that I saw Krishna winking at me. Now, if that inspired him to keep coming to the temple regularly, that's wonderful. It might have been some illusion, some imagination, doesn't matter. That's the whole idea of Manas Puja. That even imagination can be used to take us towards reality. Manas Puja means what? Let's say, if I am too sick and I can't come to satsang, then I imagine that I am coming to satsang. If, say, I want to make some delicious offering for Krishna, but I don't have the resources to make that offering, then in my mind, I make that offering to Krishna. That's Manas Puja, and that is accepted by Krishna. But generally, Manas Puja is accepted only when we really can't do the practical thing. So, if that becomes a substitute, somebody, you're not making an offering to Krishna. Oh, So in my mind, I offered $10 million. No, not like that. It should be a substitute. But it should be an excuse for not doing it. But so, Prabhupada also said in my lecture that, if you imagine that there is a throne in your heart, and on that throne Radha Krishna is sitting. You imagine like that, well, that is not imagination, that's reality. That means it is imagination that is used to go toward reality. So, like these paintings are made, we do dramas. And when we are doing dramas, it is not that, if we are doing Krishna related dramas, it is not that broadly some dialogues we can take from Shastra, but not every single detail we are taking from Shastra. No, we don't really even know when we are the background, what kind of background was there, what kind of background is available for us. But we use our imagination to try to, what kind of costume we should wear. We use our imagination to try to recreate that scene. But the imagination is helping us go toward reality. So it doesn't matter. It could be whatever the source is coming from, if it inspires us to become more serious in our devotion, then that is anukul, and we accept it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. There may be some people who are more driven by logic rather than emotion. Can you provide some tips on how they can move from the quadrant of impulsivism to the bhakti virtue?
Well, you are asking the perfect person. When I studied Bhakti Shastri in my early days, so we had one sannyasi, Purnachandra Maharaj. He was Purnachandra Prabhu, became Purnachandra Brahmachari, and Purnachandra Maharaj afterwards. So he came and taught, and I would ask him a lot of questions. Everything I would ask questions. And he would answer the questions. He would call me Chaitanya Charan is Prashna Sagar. So one day when I asked him, he says, Chaitanya Charan, he says, you are from an engineering background. He said, you have to understand that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not an engineering object to be analyzed. So I was taken aback. So normally he was answering my question very nicely. So he said, what do I do? I cannot stop my brain from analyzing. So he said, you don't have to stop your brain. Krishna has given you that brain, use it. But he said, don't let that come in the way of your connection with Krishna. That means, so we need to consciously do some activities that connect us with Krishna. So for some people, their heart directly goes to Krishna. For some people, the way to the heart is only through the head. But we should not get stuck in the head. We have to go to the heart. So from that time, I started memorizing verses, especially not just verses. I always like to memorize verses, but I started memorizing prayers and reciting prayers. And so what happened by that is the intelligence is used to memorize, but because it's directly about Krishna, we say the names of Krishna or something. I had memorized a lot of verses as I've grown older, and memory has gone down. But that memory, what happens is we use our intelligence but focus on directly devotional content. And then we experience the connection with Krishna. So that's one thing which you can do. Try to find out something which is a combination of intellectual and devotion. And also if you get an opportunity, try to associate whenever possible with devotees who are very seriously devotional but they're not very intellectual. Then it's a little uncomfortable initially. But if you connect with them, then we start appreciating an entirely another dimension of devotion. Yes, Babu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Actually, what I understood is the goal of human life is to attain love towards Krishna, a devotional service. So, my question here is, what are the prominent factors that are responsible for this? Past life or in this life, the field? What are the most, some will be advanced quickly and some are still attracted to this modern world. So, what are the prominent factors that are responsible for?
See, our past life determines our starting point. So if we consider, say, this is the spiritual path. So I might be here from my past life, and say you might be here, and Lilananda might be here.
Sorry, I didn't see who is who. Sing now.
Maybe you're outside this now then. So we are all at different plans. But from wherever we are, we can always move forward. So rather than worrying about who is where, we just keep moving, taking steps forward. We keep taking steps forward. We keep taking steps forward. We will move towards Krishna. And one of the best ways to keep ourselves moving towards Krishna is serious association. We associate with serious devotees that will propel us forward. So, in general, Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha, that in association desire develops. So, when we associate with devotees who have a lot of desire to serve Krishna, then by that our desire to serve Krishna will also increase. So, wherever we are, it doesn't matter. We are still within Krishna's plan. And if we just associate with devotees and get that desire, we will keep moving forward as fast as possible for us.
Krishna Prabhuji, to connection to this, is it predestined or it is in the purview of the devotional? Means
Our starting point is predestined. But how we move forward is up to us. That is not predestined. So in this life, how much we move closer to Krishna, that is up to us. That is not determined by Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
There. Okay. So you already have mic there?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, as everyone else. Thank you for the wonderful class, Prabhuji. And I wanted to say, I was looking for this opportunity actually for a long time. By your intellectual progress, you convert or you give life to Krishna conscious philosophy, and especially the play with words actually to switch our emotions and anchor our consciousness to Krishna. That's really amazing. Thank you so much for that. And we big Hari Bols to you, Prabhuji, because whenever I hear your lectures on YouTube, I have a deep appreciation and I keep shouting Hari Bol to you.
Haribol! Haribol!
Prabhuji, my question is actually, when we heard about Chaitanya Charan Prabhu's deities catching the dewdrops and then that closes liquid below the eyes of Mahaprabhu's deities. And there are also some instances where when you're worshipping the Lord, suddenly few flowers fall from the garland or something like that. So these are actually not sentiments, they are emotions, like where we are connecting and relating to the Lord. So how seriously should we take them and how fanatic we should not be about?
When any emotion in connection with Krishna. Let's change. Any emotion in connection with Krishna is actually good, and we should be grateful for that emotion. Always, if any emotion we experience, the first thing is be grateful. And it's a gift from wherever it's coming. It's helping us experience some proximity to Krishna, some intimacy with Krishna. We cherish that. Now beyond that, as I said, don't worry too much about the source. If that inspires us to continue our service, to deepen our service, that's excellent. But what shouldn't happen is that every day we start doing the service and if we become too expectant, oh, yesterday I experienced something, today also I will experience something. And if it doesn't experience anything, where is Krishna? What are you doing? So we shouldn't become too demanding. So in general, it is humility that leads to gratitude and it's pride that leads to demands. So we can be grateful, but we also maintain humility with it. Krishna, I don't deserve this, you're giving this to me, I'm grateful. And we continue our service. Am I answering your question?
Absolutely, but my question is like, it leads to a kind of mob mentality. Well, it is
Wrong.
mob mentality. Like like when it is happening in front of so many people, like it builds a certain consciousness, the mental makeup changes. We start viewing that particular instance to be as an emotion which is like full of illusion. The entire consciousness of the people changes. So if it is just 1:1 with the Lord, then that is a different thing. I understand about the emotions that you have expressed.
So if you say it's like some mystical experience that is seen by hundreds or thousands or something like that,
Yeah.
well, that means that Krishna has given that mercy to so many people. Now we also have to evaluate whether it is actually true, that it actually happened. So in general, it's useful to think of, first of all, thinking did that event actually happen. Second is there any natural explanation for that event if it happened? And third is the supernatural explanation necessarily God? Because in our philosophy, there are so many other beings. There are devatas, there are even ghostly beings, so many things are there. So it's not necessary that just because something extraordinary has happened, that has to be attributed to God. So generally, if we talk with senior devotees, those who are wise, those who are realized, and if they say, yeah, this has happened, then it's okay to accept and see that it's a Krishna has given their collective mercy to everyone. But in general, as I started pointing out that in a mob, in a large group of people, if one person claims to have seen something, others also start following, and it may not have happened, but everyone starts thinking that it has happened, and everyone starts claiming that they saw it, and then it is just that by the force of pressure, we are going to feel guilty if we don't acknowledge that we also saw it. So that is not a very healthy thing. That's where sentimentality actually can lead to problems. So in the Christianity, I don't want to criticize Christianity, but Christianity is very broad and very different kind of varieties are there. So there's one particular group of within Christian, we say that if you accept Jesus as your savior, then that very day you are freed from all your sins. And if you're freed from all your sins, then you will have no more problems. And then what they say, so this was a group, it was eventually strongly regulated by the American government. They said that if you have glasses, that's because of some past sin your eyes are not able to see. And Jesus cured a blind person. So they said that if you accept that Jesus is a savior, then you have no need for glasses. Throw away glasses. And then the poor person is not able to see. They say, you just don't have faith enough. Have faith. You are saved. See. Well, how can you see? So the government passed a rule saying that if any religious tradition makes claims that interfere with people's medical treatments, then that is not acceptable. And that's a reasonable thing. So the point is that sometimes if some miracle is claimed to have happened and it doesn't happen to someone, then that person is made to feel guilty. So that should not happen.
So now in this class you said that sometimes Krishna gives us a glimpse of like in our dreams, right? So how do we know whether we are getting a glimpse of it or whether we are already there?
If you're already there, you wouldn't be here to ask the question. If you're already there, then that's a matter of great fortune. So if you're already there, one thing would be that you'll be having that experience not just as a glimpse, you'll have it regularly. So another thing is that if we are at that very advanced stage of devotion, then it is that Krishna will become like a very present reality for us. For Prabhupada, it was not that Krishna was somebody who was going to realize in the future. Like Krishna was right there with him. That's how real Krishna was. That's what will happen for us also when we get there. So, yes. Ah, no problem.
Only my question is not that deep, very fundamental question, please. First question, as you draw the picture, soul, mind, and body. My question is, what is the location of the mind in the body? Where is it?
Where is the mind? Well, I haven't found any. I also had this question. I haven't found any specific reference for that till now. But I talked with several devotees who know Sankhya, and the understanding is that just like if you consider the other elements, where is earth, water, fire, air in the body? It's everywhere. It's distributed. So similarly, mind, intelligence, ego are also said to be distributed. They're distributed throughout the body. But then it is that when we experience something, say for example, if you're sitting and you're experiencing, say, pain in your thighs, then what is happening is consciousness is getting concentrated over it. So that's the time when the mind is everywhere, like the nervous system is everywhere. But then the nervous system gets activated at a particular place. That's when we experience sensations. So the mind is everywhere, but the mind's presence becomes acutely manifested at particular places. And the mind is also, it's subtle. It's difficult to really explain. It's when I say the mind can leave the body also. That's when people have out of body experiences or something like that. So the best way to understand is like the mind is like software. Now you can say the software is present. You could say it's present to a particular place in the hardware. You know that okay, in the hardware, in this particular place, I have inserted this driver into the software. But I put this pen drive. But if I break open the pen drive, I'm going to find the software over there. The software is like a different thing only. And then the pen drive can still be there, but the software can be removed from it and go somewhere else. Isn't it? So the mind is subtle. That's why pinning it down to a specific physical location is difficult. It is distributed throughout the body and it can manifest at particular points in the body very acutely, or sometimes it can manifest, rarely, it can manifest outside the body also. But general understanding that I have got is it is distributed. It's not localized to a particular place.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you. One more question. And I heard Prabhupada saying in one of the lectures, when we are in dream, so soul goes out of the body. Right? At that time, do we have when the soul is out of the body means the body is dead.
Okay, go ahead.
So now, is the body really dead? Because the soul is out of the body. It's going, soul went to America. Is the body in India dead?
Okay, so now what happens in dreams is complex. Prabhupada himself, when we analyze all his statements about dreams, Prabhupada makes many statements. So it is a possibility that the soul and the mind both leave the body. And if that happens, it's like even when the person has outer body experiences, basically the soul and the mind come out and the person is looking from above. So now, at that time, the body may still be breathing. It's almost like, say, if the standard example we give is of a car and a driver. The car moves because of the driver. But sometimes the driver can come out of the car and the car may still be functioning. The car may still be on, the wheels are not moving, but the engine is still on. Sometimes it may also happen that the driver comes out of the car, the car's brake fails and the car starts moving also. See, that's also possible. So, the soul doesn't have to be present always in the body for the body to have functionality. The soul needs to have some connection with the body. So it's like, you could say sometimes a person can control a car by remote. So there is some kind of the soul by non-material, the mind, basically, not the soul, the mind. The mind can have influences that cannot be understood normally through the laws of physics, because the mind is subtle. So it is possible that the soul through the mind can have some control over the body, even when the body is in the soul in the mind are not present in the body. So that's sometimes possible. It's not necessary that in each time in dream the soul and mind have to go out of the body. It could be that the mind is just imagining things. It is also possible that somebody may go to other places. So dreams are complex phenomena. Many things can happen in the dreams. So both are possible. But in principle, the soul and the mind can have some control over the body even if they are outside the body.
What exactly do you mean by soul and mind?
Soul and mind.
What exactly do you mean by that?
There are two things. Soul is who we are. Mind is subtle covering around us. Like if you have a computer system with the hardware, the software, there's a user. So the soul is the user, the mind is the hardware. So just like if I don't know whether you will understand this, but suppose now people have their Gmail password. Google, you use Google. So you have one phone and then you have your Google password. Now suppose you sell that phone or you lose that phone, the phone gets damaged. Then what happens is you go to another phone and then you enter your Google password. And then all that Gmail and all your history and bookmarks and everything that gets linked with that. So the hardware, the phone is like the body. You the user are like the soul. And all that information that gets connected with the phone when you log in to it, that's like the software. That is like the mind.
My question is from nihilism. So you mentioned that for somebody thinks that this life is very meaningless, but that does not mean that this world doesn't exist. He's there, he is experiencing the distress. So how does that? What is the difference between that and materialism? I did not really find the correct distinguishing.
Okay. So nihilism, it is basically, see, materialists, even if to some extent they know that we are all going to die, but it is like death is something which is going to happen far away in the future. And people think material things to be very meaningful. It's so somebody who is a materialist, say loss of some money, or what to speak of loss of some money, even a loss of a sports match or this or that. That triggers some profound emotion, and not just matter of emotion, they derive some meaning from it. So that is, materialists do consider this world to be meaningful. So when we look at that was asatyam pratishtante jagadahu ranishwaram, aparaspara sambhutam kimannati kamahetu, that was 1680 in the Bhagavad Gita. Actually, it is talking about multiple worldviews. Kimanyat kamahetu kam, that what purpose is there other than sensual enjoyment? That is actually materialistic worldview. But asatyam pratishtante, that is a nihilistic worldview. Even this world is not real.
If he's there, right there, experiencing it, his body is real. How can we think that this world is not real?
Well, it's not real in the sense that they think it has ultimately no meaning, it has no value. So in that sense,
Not about the matter, material.
whether it exists or not. Well, some people may philosophically think matter doesn't exist, it's just a projection of the mind. So there is a philosophy called solipsism. Solipsism is the idea that you cannot prove the existence of anything except your own consciousness. That means, say, I am looking at you, I have no way to prove that you really exist. All that I can say is that my consciousness exists. The solipsism can be refuted, but it's a very self-centered worldview. So you could go in that direction also, that ultimately everything else could just be the projection of our imagination. It's difficult to prove that logically, that if I consider, say, you are not real, so I go and slap you. And then you slap me back. I really got a slap, isn't it? So So the point is, it's difficult to prove that, but philosophy can go in many directions. Sometimes philosophy becomes philosophy.
So it's just a worldview which exists. It doesn't matter whether that is logical or really.
Yeah, I see the human God has given human beings the intelligence to justify whatever they want to be. So there is people can actually come up with reasons why they believe something. Now whether it is real or not, that's a different question. Yeah, but it's not a very rational worldview.
Krishna Prabhuji, Prabhuji, can the mystical experiences be an arrangement of Maya so that one may get pride and fall down?
Can mystical experiences be an arrangement of Maya by which we become proud and fall down? Well, anything is a possibility. But my understanding is rather than thinking of it like that, it's more like a multiple choice exam. It is, the multiple choice exam is not designed for us to fail. The possibility is that very much we will fail. In fact, people say if you look at probability, 80% probability, 5 options are there, 80% probability is wrong answer. But you can't blame the teacher. You have 4 wrong options. What's wrong with you? You wanted to fail. No, the teacher gave 4 wrong options, but the teacher has given education before that. Isn't it? Which is the right option to choose. So, that way, rather than thinking that anything is an arrangement of Maya or arrangement of Krishna, it's not that Maya and Krishna act independently. Isn't it? Maya acts under Krishna. So, the same situation, if we respond wrongly, then it takes us towards Maya. The same test, if I choose the wrong option, I lose marks. If I choose the right option, I gain marks, I move closer. So rather than thinking, is this an arrangement of Krishna or is this an arrangement of Maya? In every situation, there is the possibility to go towards Krishna and there is the possibility to go towards Maya. It depends on how we choose and how we respond.
Krishna Prabhuji, we talked about Jagruti and Swapna. And in Jagruti, we said that there is Svecha, and in Swapna, there is no Svecha. Prabhuji, I was under the impression that when you get the Swapna, it's your reflection of the subconscious mind. Whatever you've been thinking a lot, or about a person you've been thinking a lot, that's the reflection that you get. So, does that mean we don't have any Svecha? Because I ask this question because children keep asking me, I'm not able to sleep in the night, my mind is very active. I'm thinking a lot of things, and they ask me, how do you sleep? So I told them that I think of happy things, I think of Krishna, I think of Radharani, I think of gardens, and then today I might not get a dream about that, but tomorrow I get a dream. So slowly you are anyway going into that Krishna conscious activity only by doing that. So I'm thinking that there is a little bit svecha in directing our dreams towards a certain thing.
Yes, Svecha is there in the Jagruti stage. It is not there within the dream. Yes, what we think about in the daytime, it's quite likely that we will dream about at night when we are asleep. But the events that transpire within the dream, there is very little conscious choice. It's almost as if it's happening to us and even through us. It's like, generally speaking, in a dream, like we may be a part of the play, whatever is enacting, but it's almost like somebody else is directing us. We see I'm doing this, I'm running here, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. That is all happening. So in that sense, the svecha is not there within the dream. But yes, in the daytime, so if somebody is having very disturbed dreams, then they can explore. Are they seeing something disturbing in the daytime? Now if somebody sees a horror movie just before sleeping, then it's natural that they might have some terrible nightmares or something like that. So it's good to observe if we are getting this particular kind of dreams. What is it that I'm exposing myself? So yes, there's also the principle of yoga nidra, where we gently calm ourselves down, relax our body, and then by that we are able to sleep more peacefully. enter into deeper sleep. So that yoga nidra is that the consciousness that we try to cultivate before sleeping, it is expected with training that we shape the consciousness that we have while we are sleeping. But we don't control the consciousness we have while sleeping. We control what we have before. That is the question.
So there is nothing called subconscious mind, and it's just a misnomer.
No. That is a different issue. Now, subconscious mind, there are like different worldviews. In the Vedic worldview, there is no specific term like the subconscious mind. But the idea that mind has impressions, and many some impressions we are aware of, many that we are not aware of, that is definitely true. There are many samskars, many are from previous lives also. So the samskars that are there, they are there within us. It's like if I have a device and if I have a computer, there's something on the screen of the computer. But probably thousands and millions of times more data is there in the drive of the computer. Some of it I am aware of, some of it I am not even aware of. So it's like that. What is on the screen is what is our conscious mind. And then all the data that is there in the drive, that's like in the mind that is not conscious. So that's you could say that's in the subconscious mind. And sometimes it surfaces. So I don't think the problem is the idea of the subconscious mind. It is there that the concept is compatible with the Vedic understanding of the mind. Although so the mind has multiple layers, you can say. Some of it we are conscious of. Sometimes we act in a particular way and then we just can't figure out why did I act like that. But then sometimes we yell at someone when somebody does something and you're like, why did I? That's not me. But then sometimes if you're introspective, you might remember, maybe we saw somebody else and so you're yelling at someone else like that. Or somebody yelled at us like that, and that action just came out. We get that flashback. So like that, sometimes some things come from subconscious mind upward, and we get some insights.
If you remember one of the Kopi Gita, there was a question about attending sessions. You said you will answer in your question.
Yes. So we have time.
Remember that question?
Maybe after this related questions, then we can. Prabhuji, I have a question that you, in a very old lecture once you told about the ghostly existence, karma, right? Where the soul doesn't have a body and it's trying to experience, it feels it's thirsty but it doesn't have a mouth to drink, something like that. Now, when a soul leaves the body, right, it doesn't have eyes also. So is the vision also lost? So the soul, as soon as it leaves the body, it can't see anything. It goes into some blind zone.
See, actually, the soul has spiritual eyes, but the mind has subtle senses. See, what we call as these eyes are sensory organs. They're the physical counterparts. But the mind itself has, you could say, the subtle counterpart of senses with it. And that's how, like in out-of-body experiences, what happens? The eyes are still in the body only, but the person is seeing from above. In fact, there's one book written about near-death experiences. That is, what's the name of that book? I think called Mind Sight or something like that. It is generally, when people have this near-death experience, somebody near death, then they experience themselves out of the body. And this particular book gives a list of experiences of out-of-body experiences among blind people. And these people, they normally had no sight, and they had sight only at the time when they were blind. Sorry, only when they were out of the body. So that means, so this person says, the first time I saw myself, what do I look like? This is blind throughout. So I have mentioned that in my reincarnation book. But the point is, so it's like the soul and mind, they together have their own sensory faculties. But when a person is blind, basically what happens, the sensory organ is blocked. And that's why the person is not able to see. But when the soul and the mind come out of the body, When the sensory organs blockage is no longer blocking the soul and the mind. So the subtle senses that are there in the mind, with that the person sees. That's why, now, depending on again the karma. See, karma plays roles everywhere. Like say, some people have very sharp eyesight. Some people have a lot of physical strength. Some people have a very strong voice. So like that karma and the variability for that can happen in the disembodied state of ghosts also. So it's like sometimes you may have seen in ghostly movies, suddenly a door opens and there's no one there. So now that means that but if at all it's true, then what it means is that the ghost also has the power to affect physical things. So it depends, not all ghosts are equally powerful. That also depends on their previous karma. See, in the ghostly state also, there is.
Switch off the lights.
so in these ghostly states, then all ghosts, not all ghosts are equally powerful. So it depends on which. It depends on like which sensory faculties do they have access to. So generally ghosts are able to see, but some ghosts, basically, Dutta Karma Prabhu is Dr. Michael Green, who is a Prabhupada disciple, devotee scientist. He's written that there are 3 levels at which there are a lot of research done about the existence of ghosts also. So the first is that there are what you could say apparitions. Apparitions means somebody sees some kind of form. It might be a clear form or just like a light or something like that. That's apparitions. And then there is communications. Communication is like planchette or something like that. A person is a medium and they say, where is this person? The hand starts moving automatically. I'm not saying all of it is always true. But there are times when some images couldn't have been known for the medium, they have been communicated to that. So communication is that somehow that other, we don't just see things, we get some message from it. And the third is what we call as possessions. Possessions means the ghost enters into somebody's body. And then that person starts functioning completely differently. So they start talking in a different voice. There are cases of somebody who was born in Nagpur, and that person had never gone near Nagpur, that person had not even gone outside Nagpur district. And suddenly that person started speaking like fluent Bihari language. So that is well documented that for those 3 months or something, that person like completely spoke fluent Bihari. How that happened? There's no one from, this is 1960, 70, something like that. Travel was also not so, there's nobody from Bihar in that region. So there are cases like that where sometimes possession can also happen. So now not all ghosts have the power to possess someone. There are also how much power they have depends on their karma. That also depends on the weakness of the person. So then that person may get possessed.
Thank you. Any other questions? We will take one or two.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, I have one question, but it's not related to the topic. Can I?
Yes, I think there are no questions related to the topic, isn't it? Okay, sure.
Yeah, good.
Prabhuji, in our regular preaching activities, one problem, rather than problem, it's a question comes. So, the difference between Vishnu Tattva and Shambhu Tattva.
So let's not get into that right now.
Okay.
Maybe you can have a separate class on Shambhu.
Okay. Yes.
It's a little complicated.
Yeah. Thank you.
And that's a little understatement.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Even I have a very British question. Like you're talking
And this question. You are right.
Okay.
So are you saying that ghosts are definitely real?
Are ghosts real?
Your parents are with you here?
Yes.
Answer me.
Do you really want to know? Well, not all. First thing is, not all claims that there are ghosts are real. That means sometimes the person may think there is a ghost, but there's just a logical explanation for that. If the door opens, you just didn't shut the door, and the wind came and that's why the door opened. So in general, we should not jump to paranormal explanations without looking for normal explanations. So whenever normal explanation suffices, that's the explanation we should look for. Normal physical explanation. And if the normal physical explanation doesn't work, then you can look for some psychological explanation. That psychological explanation is the person who missed it. Like one devotee, he wrote to Prabhupada. And this is quite funny. He said that, Prabhupada, I'm suddenly feeling very lusty. I think some lusty ghost has possessed me. So Prabhupada said, just chant Hare Krishna, control yourself. So the point is that sometimes an anarthas rise, sometimes an anger rises within us. Suddenly we feel angry. We shouldn't think that that is an angry ghost is coming. It's just my own anger that is coming. So like that, sometimes it could be just something inside us that is coming. It's not exactly a ghost. But beyond that, beyond looking for physical explanations and beyond looking for psychological explanations, there are cases when none of these explanations will suffice. And that is the case where we can say that ghosts, they do exist, but not every single claim of something being a ghost is real. So generally, we should approach such things with a little bit of hesitation, skepticism, not believe that everything is due to ghosts. But we don't have to be complete cynics when we say that no ghosts don't exist at all. They do exist, but not all claims are real.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So let us thank His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu for clarifying such a deep topic of SAHAHIYAISM. So much explanation, I'm sure we all have benefited today. And most important thing that I personally felt is, don't apply this on others, apply it on yourself. So let's thank Prabhuji. 3 loud Hari Bol.
Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol!
So I would like to make a couple of announcements and couple of things that are planned. There's devotee here, and there's Champaklata Mataji. Hare Krishna. I would like to say a few words about her before. Can everybody see you once? There you go. That's Champaklata Mataji. Hare Krishna. So, how many know her here? Oh, most of you know her. Okay. Some of you don't know her. We can speak a lot of things of what she has done. But in short, I can tell you that she has done one of the greatest contributions in the mission of Sri Prabhupada. Is she has translated, she has made the whole translation of Bhagavad Gita into Braille language so it can be accessed by blind children.
Haribol!
Mataji is a simple housewife, and her husband works in army and has all the other responsibilities that everybody else has. But she started her journey by going to a blind school and trying to teach those children Kirtan and Bhagavad Gita. And if you see her presentation, short or long, it's not possible that you will not try. You will really feel what she has done. And so many children have benefited. And one of those children has also recently taken initiation from a blind person, who got in contact with her, learned Bhagavad Gita. He took initiation also in Krishna consciousness from his Holiness Bhakti Swami Maharaj. And she continued the journey from Bangalore and Hyderabad, and now Mataji is living in Hyderabad. And the journey continues, and she saw a real need of having books for blind children. Sometimes when I heard the story of how she was training the blind children, and the blind children were speaking how they experience Krishna consciousness, I really felt that they have better vision than me of seeing Krishna, because their vision was completely based on what they heard and what was being explained in the scripture. So she took a lot of effort, Mataji took a lot of effort. Krishna tests a devotee when he tries to do such a big service. She went through a lot of tests to make it happen. And not only this book, I think Vaishnava songs are also translated into Braille language, where blind children can sing Vaishnava songs just by touching the book. Very good. That's the Vaishnava songs book. And Mataji is holding one, I think it's the first chapter. Introduction and first chapter is that big book itself. You can see what Mataji is holding. And if you want to, if she gives the entire Bhagavad Gita, it's like 10 volumes of that size. So because this is center where a lot of people come, and we want people to get aware that if there is somebody in their family who wants to read Bhagavad Gita and is blind, we want to have a copy here and publicize that so that they can go and know that this option is available. ISKCON is presenting Bhagavad Gita to every living entity on this planet, whether or not you have been. And if Prabhuji's presence here, Mataji requested if Prabhuji can present this book through her to the center, so we'll keep it here. Mataji, can come please. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
This is Vaishnava song.
It's Vaishnava song book.
Just a few have been printed for you so that they can pass it to what you play, etc.
Very good.
And this is the one which I recently made on Lord Jagannath and bus station.
I think you want to say something about the last one.
This is the recent book. It's a story book on Lord Jagannath and Dashavata. And in the whole world, we have just found out that these pastimes have not been printed in Braille before this. So it's by Prabhupada's mercy that these books are coming, and also Vaishnava's mercy like Prabhuji. And I have been listening to lectures of Prabhuji and so many other Vaishnavas. So they are my inspiration. And I really am very grateful to all the Vaishnavas and all of you also for the blessings and prayers. Thank you.
Would you like to say anything?
It's amazing that you have such an important service, and when ultimately the greatest blessing that we can get from Krishna to Shishya Parampara is the desire to glorify Krishna. I was talking about Prabhupada going to America, he had a great courage. So what did Prabhupada get from his Guru Maharaj? Kodima did not give him any resources. But what Prabhupada got was the desire to glorify Krishna. And through that desire to glorify Krishna, the whole entire society of Krishna consciousness manifested. So Mataji had this desire to try to share Krishna's message among those who lack vision. And through that desire, that one desire in the heart can lead to so many books being manifested. So we all can pray that we all get similar desire to glorify Krishna the way she has. And Krishna enrich her and empower her with more and more desires and more facilities. So we continue this extraordinary service.
Haribol!
This is the month when we have Gita Jayanti, and this is the month we give out Bhagavad Gitas. If you think you want to sponsor a Braille Bhagavad Gita to one blind child, if you can make him see Krishna, Krishna will definitely show himself to you. This is a great opportunity of serving, right? So Mataji has contacted many blind schools. After this session, Mataji is still available. Whatever it costs, how much ever it costs, how much ever you can give. And together it can pull up into one Bhagavad Gita, and it can go into one blind school where many blind children can read it. So the service is available. It's also part of our marathon book distribution. That these Bhagavad Gitas go to many blind schools, and Mataji is really endeavoring. It was not easy. I remember she calling me once. I don't want to tell the detail, but the challenges that a devotee goes through to make this happen. internal, external, everything. And finally it got printed and approved by the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust. And it's coming as a authorized book right into our society, and for society it is going on. So it was not a simple endeavor to make it a worldwide acceptable Bhagavad Gita, right, in Braille language, which only some people know how to read. Right? You need to have that skill. So it's a great endeavor, Mataji. And all glories to our family who supported her in this whole endeavor. You know, it was definitely not possible without her husband, and I think her father is also here. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Mataji's brother is also here. Venugopal Prabhu is here. Yes, there is Venugopal Prabhu. He is a doctor himself. And Mataji, your husband is here. Hare Krishna, Hari Bol. Extraordinary things happen when there is a simple heart that wants to serve. And just manifested in front of our eyes as it happened. I think I heard this like 2.5 years back. And then seeing it right, you know, with a friend is so nice. And thank you, Mataji, for gifting it to this center. And we would like to sponsor what you have given here. Please let us know what you have given here, so that we would like to use this and show it to others when they come, so that people know that what is available here. So Sri Gopal, where is he? Yeah, you can take care of the remaining transaction. Very good. He is the finance minister of the yeah, thank you. And there is one more family who has come here to accept Bhagavatam from the hands of Prabhuji in this holy month. May I request the family to come forward? Yeah. There is a devotee in Pune, and his sister and brother-in-law have come here, and they want to take Bhagavatam. There is a Bhagavatam set. Yeah. Yeah, quickly bring. So, Hare Krishna. Prabhu, your name, Prabhu? Badriga. Madhavi. Hare Krishna. So let's congratulate Badri Prabhu and Madhavi Mataji for taking Bhagavatam in this holy month. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Bol. So, yeah, I think it is key to.
Just know this.
Yeah. Careful.
Open it like lesson song.
Yeah, that was nice. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Very good. Congratulations, Prabhuji Mataji. And I would also like to tell that during the COVID month, Subara Prabhu is standing here. He started reading Bhagavatam with his relatives. I mean, really affectionate relatives, his aunt, his uncle, and so on and so forth. And almost 30 of them started joining, and they started reading from first canto, first chapter, first page, translation, purport. It went on into online classes, basically, not a class, but just reading a little explanation. And it just went on and on and on and on. Now it's 3 years, and this month they are finishing the entire Bhagavatam set.
Haribol!
Yeah, Varalakshmi Mataji is here. She is Temple Mataji's mother. She also attends the same Bhagavatam. And they just went on chapter, just religiously doing it every Tuesday, every Thursday. It's not possible unless we have blessing and unless there is taste. Many people start Bhagavatam, it stops here and there, but he just continued with 30 people in the call. And there is a whole way in which he conducts the call. He writes all the list of names and number, and then he says, okay, according to that number, you can read the next sloka. So everybody reads, not just he reading. Everybody reads the sloka, the translation, the whole purport, and there is a need for talk. Otherwise, just keep going and going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 12 canto. They are almost in the last chapter. they are at the end of 11th canto and 12th canto is very still. So he knows that he's going to finish it this month. Hare Krishna. So Prabhuji, please extend your blessings for the whole group. So let's just together. Hare Krishna.
We purified the phone services. I've heard of devotees reading Bhagavatam together, but I've not heard of anywhere in the world as far as I know. Devotees, such a significant 30 or 25, 30 devotees reading together the entire Bhagavatam. She's strictly very complex. It's extraordinarily laudable. Yeah.
Haribol.
You can infect all of us with your dangerous desire.
And getting relatives together is very difficult.
Yeah, that's right.
Weekly twice.
With everybody, huh?
Weekly twice.
Weekly twice. So Tuesday and Thursday. No matter what happens, he just, even his boss knows when he needs Bhagavad. So he's very clear. No meetings on that day. Every Tuesday evening and Thursday evening, religiously going through it, and all of them cherish. And the group of devotees in the last 3 years, I think they have donated more than 50 Bhagavatam sets. 150 Bhagavatam sets the group has donated. And because they have read, they got so much taste of it. They felt so much gratitude towards Prabhupada and Prabhuji also for helping them go through this experience. Is that they have gone ahead and they're looking forward to every opportunity to donate Bhagavatam, right? And let's also implant that. I'm sure the seed is also already there. That Mataji is already thinking, can I make a braille Bhagavatam? So many books. It is possible. It is possible. Hare Krishna. So also I would like to take this opportunity for Prabhuji to show a small presentation. Every year it does this. Many of us donate Bhagavad Gitas. We have done it in the past. We have done 4,000-5,000. So every year, this is the distribution he does in the tribal villages of Andhra Pradesh and Odisha. He goes to those villages, really remote places where no car goes, no cycle goes. There is a book distribution of Bhagavad Gita in the tribal villages. 4,000 plus Bhagavad Gitas were distributed till now in the last 3 years. Haribol. So you can see that map, Google map there. And
We can, I will do it. Yeah, done.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so we keep going slowly. So 100 kilometers from Vishal. You can see that, right? So literally walking. And it's a 2-day event. 500 Telugu Bhagavad Gita books and 400 Odia Bhagavad Gita books in 12 villages and 50 village temples. They have been given. And as you can see, and Prabhuji was telling me, I'm trying to remember what he told me. So there are places where he went, where people they walk half a day to reach that place to take a Bhagavad Gita. Right? From interiors of the jungles, they walk there, take one Bhagavad Gita, and they don't eat until they take the Bhagavad Gita. They fast, they come there and they take those Bhagavad Gitas. And his very good friend, Jagdish Prabhu, you can see that Prabhuji on the right hand side corner, yeah, him. So he's his classmate since his childhood. And what that Prabhuji has done to those villages, and many villages there, is he has given free limbs to people who don't have legs or hands, right? Free. And how many thousands, Prabhuji? 75,000 limbs he has distributed for free. Right? So in those villages, there is a massive conversion that goes on, right? And in between those, going and giving the Gita Jayanti, the Bhagavad Gita, is not easy. It's very risky affair also. As you can see, the villagers, you see from where all they come. And another amazing thing, keep a picture like this. If you can see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu poster there, you'd be amazed. And Prabhuji was amazed to see that in those jungles of Andhra Pradesh and the Odisha border, where nobody has gone, no preacher has gone, at least to our knowledge, nobody has gone, they worship Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda. And he was seeing the pictures where Hare Krishna mantra is already being chanted. So there's no doubt that Mahaprabhu traveled through those jungles, while he was coming down. So these are some of the. Can you see this picture here? How they go to the village? You see this corner? Literally walking through the fields. There is no truck that goes, and they employ some people to lift the Bhagavad Gitas as they go kilometers and kilometers. It's not like you're sitting somewhere and giving Bhagavad Gitas. You literally, it's a very hectic day of going from village to village, field to field, jungle to jungle.
He is making road to go.
There, the road is not good, so they are repairing the road so that the vehicle with the Bhagavad Gitas can go forward. Right? So,
This is what it is. Hare Krishna Bhajan Mandali. This is what it
in Oriya it is written Hare Krishna Bhajan Mandali. You know Oriya? Very well. Yes. And we had a Mata Aksha in the local place. He also came and he also participated in distributing Bhagavad Gita to the whole place. We also had the local MLA who also came. He is the local MLA there. We came. Yeah. So there are two MLAs who came there and distributed this program. Now it's not at one place, right? The program is in different places. Wherever, so whole planning is done before the distribution is done. And it's a different local temple priests. They have done that. And there is a Tulsi temple. Every single village, Prabhuji said, there is a temple for Tulsi Maharani. And they worship Tulsi as the deity in the temple. And there is Jagannath Baldev Subhadra, as you can see in one of the temples. Now these villages are not like the villages you go on the highway here. It's literally completely disconnected with the whole world. Somewhere on the hill, somewhere on the corner of the hill, right? As you can see, so 2-day event, 800 Bhagavad. This is in 2022, last year. So 800 Telugu Bhagavad Gitas and 1000 Odia Bhagavad Gitas in 20 plus villages in 2 big events they were distributed, as you can see all of them here. So, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. So, Hari Bol to the effort of all devotees who made this possible.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
So, last year, Prabhuji took his son also. As you can see the picture there of Panchatattva? And they are all organized by the local villagers. So, Hare Krishna. So, now, they are going this year also, on this 21st. And they are looking for people who can sponsor Bhagavad Gitas to these tribal villages. So anybody who wants to come and sponsor, please meet Subhara Prabhu on your behalf. And I want to thank all the devotees who sponsored last year. Right? So on our behalf, even though we can't go there, Prabhuji is going, and I think Mother is also appearing this time. Very good. So both of them are going, and their friend Jagadish Prabhu and many others, they're all going to go and distribute. Now this is a plan here, as you can see, 500 Telugu Bhagavad Gitas and 500 Odia Bhagavad Gitas in 20 plus villages. In 2 separate events, it's already planned. What's it? Nunchimput and villages and Paudwa and villages. So these are the locations on 23rd and 24th. The Bhagavad Gita distribution will happen. So how many of our Bhagavad Gitas you want to distribute? You can come and tell Prabhuji. He'll tell you the amount involved. You can give it. And we will take the Bhagavad Gitas, and on your behalf, those tribal villages, don't think they can buy or not buy is not the question. Even to get access to buying is not there. Right? You are taking the Bhagavad Gitas all the way there, and they'll be informed. And the purity and the devotion which they accept Bhagavad Gita is really immense. Right? So let's be part of this. If you're all enthusiastic to be part of this, please say loud Hari Bol. Hari Bol! Please help Prabhuji, and if somebody gets too excited to go also,
Yes.
please let Prabhuji know. Right? You can go along with Prabhuji, and you can actually experience this 2 days event in the mountains, in the valleys of border of Andhra Pradesh and Orissa. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. I know there is a lot of IT crowd here. There is an IT, because the IT Bank of Hyderabad. So we are doing several services for ISKCON as a society in terms of writing books, editing, and we are forming a team. We already have a team, but we are looking for 3 skills. If some of you have it or your friend has it, was not come here, please let us know. 3 skills. One is editing of a movie, movie editing. If you have that skill, please let us know. We need that help. All these services will be used in Krishna conscious teaching, right? And second skill we are looking for animation. Yes. So if somebody knows how to make simple animation using AI or any other tool, please let us know. We want to use this for creating some small animations for with Bhagavad Gita messages, positive messages outside, right? So, and the third skill is we want somebody who has the skill of making our search engine in Google in such that answers are coming from us, from the authentic source, whenever there is a question posted. We call that SOS.
SEO.
SEO. Yeah. So if you have that skill of doing that, please come forward and meet me and any of the skills, right? In the next coming weeks, you can be part of the team. There are already 11 Matajis who are part of this team. I request the Mataji to stand up over on here. If you are here, you can please stand up. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Loud Hari Bol to all these Matajis. So if you are already part of this team, you can join this team and you can complement with your skills and be part of the bigger work. Like as you can see, Sampagata Mataji with the simple desire that she had in her heart, to serve Prabhupada, and this whole book manifested here. It was not possible without the blessings. In the same way, even these Matajis, we are starting in a very small way, whatever little we are doing, but it can be enhanced with all your support and contribution. There is nothing monetary contribution you are expecting, just your skills and your time. How many of you can give 2 hours in a week? You can give 2 hours in a week, right? So the 2 hours makes a big difference. If you have that skill, it's even more, right? So please let me know whoever wants to join and whatever skill you have, and we will try to bring you into the team. Hare Krishna. So let's once again thank this Chaitanya Charan Prabhu for coming here to Hyderabad and giving time to all of us. Prabhuji is visiting all the places where our preaching activities are going on, and we have another 4 days of Prabhuji's association. It feels so sad that how is this 4 days getting over? So used to getting up in the morning and going for Goping sessions. So, but everything good also has a time that it stops. But what Prabhuji is giving us and going shouldn't stop. The inspiration and the clarity that Prabhuji brought to so many sessions where he has done in so many communities. Let's take it out and give it out to others. And I also thank all the devotees who have arranged the corporate sessions for Prabhuji. Right? So there are corporate sessions in many companies. The likes of Salesforce, Microsoft, Aztec Technologies, Prabhuji works there. I work in a company called Larkin. And Infosys, Lilananda Prabhu has arranged, right? And Virtusa, Prabhuji, Lasaraj Prabhu has arranged. So Prabhuji is going, and ECIL, Santosh Ayatha Prabhu has arranged. Am I missing something? MSN Labs, Sunil Prabhu has arranged. So it was not easy arranging these sessions because there's a lot of questioning happens. Why a sadhu? What is the topic? Is it religious? Is it not? Make sure it's secular. All those things we go through. And several layers, Prabhuji is laughing, he knows. So many layers of approvals and convincing, and finally it happens. I really want to thank everyone, with the depth of my heart for all the austerity they went through to make it happen in their organization. Sometimes their own image is at stake. They put everything, their reputation at stake to make sure it happens. Let us thank them by encouraging the Haribol.
Haribol, Haribol, Haribol.
This is just the starting. You're all working in many companies. So if you also organize corporate sessions like this, please let us know. And we can make it part of the next trip of Prabhuji. And we also have many other senior teachers who are coming here. See, we want our mission not to be just seen as a spiritual mission, but something that's very real and applicable in everybody's lives. So different mediums to bring people to Krishna consciousness. And corporate preaching is one of those, and youth preaching is one of those, and such philosophical discussion is also one of those. So thank you very much for coming to the center, and it's been a long evening already. I know you're all waiting, so Prashadam is ready. So thank you. And there are books of Prabhuji outside. Only some are left. I initially thought I ordered a lot, but I'm thinking I did not order enough. So they're already gone. What is left is what is left. That one that you can see there. You can pick up a book. Somebody will tell you how to pay for it. You can get a signature from Prabhuji. Prabhuji is right here, and so the books are available. Who is at the book table? Prasad Javadi Prabhu is at the book table. Hare Krishna. Namaste, Narasimhaya.
Namaste, Narasimhaya.
नरसिंहदेव भगवान की श्रीमती प्रहलाद महाराज की ऐसी भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की और असेंबल्ड डिवोटीज की Hare Krishna. So 2-3 weeks back, Devati Mataji was here. You all ordered books, so the books are here. So please meet Harshal Prabhu. He is having all the stock. You only paid for it. So make sure you collect it before you go. And next week on 23rd of December is Gita Jayanti. That's a Saturday. So we're going to be doing book distribution on the streets in Kundapur. So I will make the announcement, also tell the location. Please come there and experience distributing proper mercy on the streets. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Some of you are taking the books can come here and take signature Prabhuji, and remaining all can start going to the third floor to have prasada. Mahaprasade Govinde, Nama Brahmane Vaishnave, Svalpa Punya Vratam Rajan, Vishwas Dormeva Jayate, Sharira Vidyajavam, Jidendriya Traheka, Jive Pele Vishe Sagare, Karamati Jivati, Lobamaya Sunarmati, Take Jeta Samsare, Krishna.